Hello YouTubers, this is Rainbow. It's come to my attention that Cartoon Network has a new lineup of shows for the fall. So, I wanted to give them a little bit of a present, give them some resolutions for the new year, even though the new year won't be here for quite a few months. But I'd like to give them my opinion. Please note that this will most likely not be one of those Cartoon Network sucks rants. I probably have done some of those rants before, but that was the old me. So I'd like to give my resolutions to them. So let's get started. Number 1, expand their horizons. A lot of Cartoon Network shows, if you haven't noticed, are coming from Canada. They should probably invest in looking to Europe, because a lot of their better shows have come from there. Code Lyoko came from France. The Amazing World of Gumball came from Britain. So we should probably give them a little wake-up call and tell them you can look at other countries for cartoons. It doesn't have to be just Canada. And it doesn't always have to be Japan either. Okay, moving on. Number 2. Forget about the money. It appears that a majority of Cartoon Network shows only aim to make money. They only aim to put a new item, an innovative item, onto the shelves of local toy stores so parents can spend and get their snot-nosed brats the little toys that they want. They should invest in stopping that, because a lot of their better shows didn't really need a toy line. Powerpuff Girls didn't need one. Johnny Bravo didn't need one. Symbiotic Titan didn't need one, and look what happened to them, unfortunately. But, you know, that's how they are. So they need to get their heads out of their wallets and start making some quality entertainment rather than aiming to make money. Moving on. 3. Number 3. This is probably going to cost me dearly. But my 3rd resolution is that they do not bring back the old shows. It's not to say that the old shows are not good, but they were good to our generation. We can say as much as we want to about this generation, but they will most likely never have the patience to want to sit back and watch Powerpuff Girls. A family friend had a child here just a few days ago. He saw Powerpuff Girls. I was watching it. He said, "Why are you watching this? It's a show about girls." That hurt a little bit, but he's right. A kid his age would probably have no patience for something like Powerpuff Girls, which is sad to see. But that was for our generation. This is a new generation, so showing reruns will not help. Also, for the old fans, if they found out that they were showing Johnny Bravo again or something on Cartoon Network, we plunge at first into watching it. But over time, though, once they start running out of episodes, because there are no new episodes of Johnny Bravo, there aren't any new, eventually they'd get bored and they'd stop watching it. Look at Adult Swim, for example. Before Toonami came back, and even now, they still show a majority of reruns with anime. You have Bleach premiering, Dead Man Wonderland, Casshern Sins actually airing before, and the rest are animes that had already aired. How many people are truly kicking back and watching all of those, even though a majority of them have already come on in like 2005-ish? It's pointless, and it's a waste. So Cartoon Network should not show any reruns, or else they're wasting space for things that could be new. So that's how I feel about that. Number 4. Cartoon Network should stop trying to compete with Nickelodeon and Disney. As we saw from The Annoying Orange, that was obviously as a means to compete with Nickelodeon's Fred. And as we can see, Fred is not really doing too well on Nickelodeon. The poor guy is getting quite sick on there. The Annoying Orange is starting to decompose. But yes, they're constantly trying to compete with the other networks, and that's not right. They shouldn't feel the need to follow Nickelodeon and Disney. God forbid Cartoon Network decides to get a music-themed show like Nickelodeon and Disney with their singers that we've never heard of types of actors who we'll never hear of again once they go off the air type of thing. As long as they do not get those musical things, we should be okay. We should be safe. So they should avoid music altogether because it is not Cartoon Network's thing, and they should not feel the need to get one of those in order to get an audience. Because as they can see, it doesn't really do too well. And number 5. The last one, and the one that I really feel is my main point, is that they need to be more creative. That's what they absolutely need. A lot of their shows seem very generic, things like we've seen before on other networks. Let's look at Nickelodeon, for example. Nickelodeon had the Avatar series and The Legend of Korra. Combined, they make an incredibly awesome story that you really cannot compare to anything else. Because anything else that came before it, some people might compare it to Avatar. Who knows? But that is something that is purely Nickelodeon, and is something that we will look back on for a long time. Cartoon Network, at this time, they need shows that people want to remember as a Cartoon Network thing. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends was one of those new, like, original-ish, like it wasn't a common thing on television. A home for children's imaginary friends to stay until they get adopted. It's such an interesting concept, and you haven't seen that on Disney or Nickelodeon or anything, and it's surprising that Disney itself didn't have the idea first. But they didn't. But that was our show. That was this generation's show. The new generation needs a show like that. They need their Powerpuff Girls or their Johnny Bravo, so sometime when they get older, they can talk to their friends about, hey, you remember this show? Because the lineup that Cartoon Network has, just in one ear and out the other, there's no impact. It's not memorable. Adventure Time, maybe. Regular show, maybe. But few people of this generation anyway. The young ones are probably watching it, but, you know. But they need that. That's what they need. They need a new creative show that everybody will be talking about. They need what's it called? A craze. They need a craze. There was an Avatar craze. There was a Legend of Korra craze. A huge one. Cartoon Network has not had that craze. And that's what they need. The same thing goes for CN Real. I know you guys are probably expecting me to say that CN Real needs to go. Not exactly. If Cartoon Network were never called Cartoon Network, I still wouldn't have watched those shows because they aren't creative. There's nothing new about them. If I wanted to watch The Other Siders, I could have just go to Sci-Fi and watch Ghost Hunters, which is most likely 100 times better than The Other Siders. They need live action shows that are actually interesting, something that we haven't really seen before. I see Level Up, I think Code Lyoko for some silly reason. I don't know why. Probably because it's almost the same thing with video games suddenly coming to life and ruining your lives. So they need something more creative. So if any of you are still watching and not throwing your computer screen or something or calling me a slut or whatever, that's how I really feel. Those were my 5 resolutions that I believe that Cartoon Network should invest in doing, listening to, heeding my advice or anything. And I hope that any fans out there who actually understand how I'm feeling, understand how I'm feeling. So, that's all I really have to say. Leave a comment if you want to. Hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully I don't get too many dislikes. But, you know, that's how it is. But this is Rainbow here, signing off. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their summer, or winter if you're in Australia. And enjoy a good school year, because I'm going to college.